2008, 60 Minutes, CBS News. A 67-year-old man sits across from a famous TV reporter. He looks calm, relaxed, almost friendly. The reporter asks him one simple question. How many people have you killed? The man doesn't even pause. 20. He says it like it's nothing, like you might say you've read 20 books, 20 human beings, dead, because of him. The reporter leans in. Do you feel bad about it? The man thinks for a second. I feel bad about the innocent ones. There was a 19-year-old girl in a car. She shouldn't have been there. That one bothers me. He pauses. But the others? They were in the game. They knew the risks. This man's name is John Martorano. And here's the part that will make you angry. John Martorano admitted to 20 murders. He told the government every detail. He told the FBI where the bodies were buried. He named the people who helped him. He held nothing back. So how long did he go to prison? 12 years. That's it. 20 murders. 12 years. Do the math. That's about 7 months in prison for every person he killed. And when he walked out of prison in 2007, the government handed him $20,000 to help him start over. The families of the people he killed, they got nothing. John Martorano is a free man today. He wrote a book about his murders. He went on TV. He lives somewhere near Boston right now. And the government calls this a win. This is the true story of the most shocking deal in American crime history. How a hitman who killed 20 people, including 3 innocent bystanders, talked his way to freedom. And why the government said yes. Stay with us, because this story will make you question everything you think you know about justice. Chapter 1. The Executioner. December 13th, 1940. John Martorano was born in Somerville, Massachusetts, just north of Boston. His father ran a grocery store, but his father also had friends in the neighborhood, friends who made their money the illegal way. So young Johnny grew up around gangsters, and he learned something early. There were 2 ways to make money in Boston: the honest way and the other way. Here's the thing. Johnny was talented. He was smart. He was a star football player in high school. 7 different colleges offered him a full scholarship to come play for them. 7 chances at a normal life. He turned down every single one. I wanted to stay in Boston, he said later. I wanted to be where the action was. The action was organized crime. By his early 20s, Johnny had joined the Winter Hill Gang, a powerful Irish-American crime group based in Somerville. He became friends with the boss, Howie Winter. He met another young criminal named Stephen Flemmi, and he discovered what he was good at. John Martorano was very, very good at killing people. His first murder came in 1965. He was 24 years old. The target was a small-time criminal who had crossed the wrong people. Martorano shot him in the head, and he felt nothing. It was like flipping a switch, he said later. One minute the guy was alive, the next minute he wasn't, and I went home and ate dinner. That cold, empty feeling would define his whole life. Over the next 30 years, John Martorano would kill more people than any other hitman in Boston history. His nicknames tell you everything. The Executioner, the Basin Street Butcher. He worked for Howie Winter first. Then, when Whitey Bulger took over the gang in 1979, Martorano worked for Whitey. He never asked questions. He never argued. When someone needed to die, John Martorano made it happen. Fast, clean, no feelings. By the end, his body count would reach 20 confirmed kills. Police believe the real number is even higher, but we'll never know for sure, because John Martorano only confessed to the ones he had to. Chapter 2. The Body Count. Let me tell you about 5 of John Martorano's 20 murders. These 5 show you exactly who this man was. Murder number 1, 1968, the Herbert Smith killing. Herbert Smith was a small-time criminal. One night he got into a bar fight with Stephen Flemmi, Martorano's friend. During the fight, Smith stabbed Flemmy. Big mistake. A few weeks later, Martorano tracked Herbert Smith to his car. Smith was in the driver's seat, but he wasn't alone. Next to him sat a 19-year-old girl named Elizabeth Dixon, and in the back seat, a 17-year-old boy. Martorano didn't care. He walked up to the car and opened fire. Herbert Smith died instantly. Elizabeth Dixon, 19 years old, died in her seat. She had nothing to do with the bar fight. She was just in the wrong car, at the wrong time. The 17-year-old boy died too. He was just a kid getting a ride home. 3 people dead, because someone stabbed Martorano's friend in a bar fight. Years later, on TV, Martorano was asked about Elizabeth Dixon. "That one bothers me," he admitted. "She was innocent. She shouldn't have been there." But when they asked if he would do anything differently, he said no. "In that life, you don't get second chances. If I hesitated, I'd be dead." Murder number 2. 1981, Roger Wheeler. Roger Wheeler was a millionaire businessman from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He owned a company called World Jai Alai. The company ran legal gambling in Florida. But here's what Wheeler didn't know. The Winter Hill Gang had been secretly stealing money from his company for years, millions of dollars, all of it going to Whitey Bulger and his crew. When Wheeler started asking questions about the missing money, he became a problem. Whitey Bulger called John Martorano. "Handle it." Martorano flew to Tulsa. He watched Wheeler's country club. He learned his schedule. May 27, 1981. Roger Wheeler finished a round of golf and walked to his car. Martorano came up behind him wearing a fake beard and sunglasses. He shot Wheeler once, through the eye. Then he drove to the airport and flew home. A millionaire, murdered in broad daylight, in a country club parking lot, because he asked where his own money went. Murder number 3. 1982, John Callahan. John Callahan used to run World Jai Alai. He was the inside man who helped the gang steal from the company. After Roger Wheeler was murdered, the FBI started digging. They suspected Callahan knew something about the killing. Whitey Bulger got nervous. If Callahan talked, everything would fall apart. So Whitey called Martorano again. August 1st, 1982, Miami, Florida. Martorano picked Callahan up at the airport. They drove to a parking garage. Martorano shot him in the head. Then he put the body in the trunk of a car and left the car in a parking lot at the Miami airport. Nobody found the body for 3 days. Murders 4 and 5. In 1973 and 1974, Martorano killed 2 more men over gambling disputes. One in a nightclub. He walked up behind the man, shot him in the back of the head, then finished his drink and left. 20 murders total, 19 men and 1 woman, Elizabeth Dixon, the 19-year-old girl in the wrong car, out of all 20. John Martorano felt bad about exactly 1. Chapter 3. The Fugitive Years. 1979. The government was closing in on the Winter Hill Gang. They had built a case about fixing horse races, a scheme that made the gang millions of dollars. John Martorano got a tip. Criminal charges were coming. His name was on the list. Now, Whitey Bulger had secret FBI protection. Martorano didn't. He couldn't make the charges disappear, so he ran. Martorano fled to Florida and settled near Boca Raton. He used a fake name. He kept his head down. He kept making money the illegal way, just smaller, taking illegal sports bets, lending money at crazy interest rates. For 16 years, John Martorano lived as a fugitive, a wanted man. His name was on FBI lists. But here's the wild part. While he was hiding from the FBI, he kept taking murder jobs from Boston. The Roger Wheeler murder in 1981, Martorano was already a fugitive. The John Callahan murder in 1982, also while he was a fugitive. He was running from the law and still killing for Whitey Bulger at the same time. And nobody caught him. Then, in 1995, everything changed. The FBI's big secret in Boston finally came out. Federal prosecutors discovered that Whitey Bulger and Stephen Flemmy had been FBI informants for 20 years. Rats. The whole time. And then Martorano learned something that made his blood run cold. Whitey and Flemmy hadn't just been informing on the Italian mafia. They had been informing on their own friends. They had given the FBI information about John Martorano. Think about that. For 30 years, Martorano thought he was a loyal soldier. He killed for Whitey. He protected Whitey. He kept his mouth shut about everything. And Whitey had been ratting him out the entire time. January 1995. Using information that Whitey Bulger had given them years earlier, FBI agents arrested John Martorano in Boca Raton, Florida. 16 years on the run, ended by the man he killed for. The betrayal was complete, and now, John Martorano was ready to talk. Chapter 4. The Deal. 1997. John Martorano sat in a federal jail cell facing the rest of his life behind bars. The charges against him were massive: running a criminal organization, multiple murders, murder for hire, drugs, threats, everything. If he lost at trial, he would die in prison, no question about it. Then federal prosecutors came to him with an offer. "We want Whitey Bulger, we want Stephen Flemmy, and we want the dirty FBI agents who protected them. Give us everything, and we'll talk about a deal." Martorano had a choice to make. For 30 years, he had lived by the code. Never talk to cops, never testify against your friends, never break the rule of silence. But Whitey had already broken the code. Whitey had been a rat the whole time. Everything Martorano believed in was a lie. "What kind of deal?" Martorano asked. The back and forth took almost 2 years. Here's what the government wanted: a full confession to every murder, everything he knew about Whitey Bulger's crime organization, everything about Stephen Flemmy's murders, everything about FBI agent John Connolly who protected the gang, everything about FBI boss John Morris who took bribes, and the locations of bodies that had never been found. Names, dates, details, everything. Martorano would have to stand up in court and admit to being a serial killer. He would have to look the victims' families in the eye and describe how he murdered the people they loved. And here's what Martorano demanded in return: no death penalty, a fixed sentence with a real release date, not life, no charges against his family, and help starting over after he got out. Finally, in 1999, they shook hands on it. John Martorano would plead guilty to 10 murders in Massachusetts. He would admit to 10 more in other states. He would testify against Whitey Bulger, Stephen Flemmy, and the corrupt FBI agents. His sentence? 12.5 to 15 years. Counting the time he'd already served waiting in jail, he could be out in 12. 20 murders, 12 years. The math is sickening. About 7 months per murder. Some people serve more time than that for selling drugs. The government defended the deal. One prosecutor put it this way: John Martorano gave us Whitey Bulger. He gave us the corrupt FBI agents. He solved dozens of cold cases. Without him, none of it happens. The victims' families saw it very differently. Steve Davis, whose sister was murdered by the gang, said, "The government made a deal with the devil. They let one mass murderer walk free to catch another one. That's not justice. That's a trade." But the deal was done. John Martorano would do his time. And then he would walk free. Chapter 5. The Testimony. 2006, Miami, Florida. The trial of FBI agent John Connolly. John Martorano walked to the witness stand and looked at the man who had protected Whitey Bulger for 20 years. And then he started talking. For 3 days, Martorano described his murders in painful detail. He described shooting Roger Wheeler through the eye at the country club. He described putting John Callahan's body in a car trunk. He described the 19-year-old girl, Elizabeth Dixon, dying in a storm of bullets that were meant for someone else. And he connected every single murder back to Whitey Bulger and the corrupt FBI agents who protected him. Connolly's lawyer tried to make him look like a liar. "You're a serial killer. You murdered 20 people. Why should anyone believe a word you say?" Martorano didn't blink. "Because I have nothing to gain by lying. I already made my deal. I'm going to prison either way. The government asked me to tell the truth. That's what I'm doing." "You killed 20 people and you're getting 12 years. That's quite a deal." Martorano shrugged. "I didn't make the rules. The government came to me. They wanted Whitey more than they wanted me. That's their choice, not mine." The jury found John Connolly guilty of murder. 40 years in prison, 2008. The trial of Stephen Flemy's crimes moved forward, and Martorano testified again. This time against his old partner, the man he had killed beside for decades. He described how Flemy strangled his own stepdaughter because she knew too much. He described how Flemy helped murder his own girlfriend for the same reason. He gave details that only someone who was there could know. Flemy got life in prison, no chance of ever getting out. 2013, the big one, the trial of Whitey Bulger. Martorano took the stand against the man who betrayed him, the man who was an FBI rat while ordering murders, the man who broke every rule Martorano ever believed in. For weeks, Martorano delivered devastating testimony. Murder after murder, names, methods, details. He connected Whitey to killings that had been unsolved for decades. Whitey Bulger glared at him from across the courtroom. Martorano glared right back. Whitey was found guilty of 11 murders, 2 life sentences. John Martorano had delivered. Every promise he made to the government, he kept. Every piece of information checked out. Every trial he testified in ended in a guilty verdict. The deal worked exactly as planned. Chapter 6. Freedom, 2007. After exactly 12 years behind bars, John Martorano walked out of federal prison, a free man. He was 66 years old. His hair had gone gray, but he was alive, and he was free. The government handed him $20,000 in cash to help him restart his life. That's standard for witnesses who cooperate. $20,000. The same government that charged him with 20 murders gave him $20,000 as a parting gift. And the families of his victims, they got nothing from Martorano. Not a dollar. Not even an apology. Some families did eventually get money from the government itself because of the FBI's role in protecting Whitey Bulger. But that money came from taxpayers, not from John Martorano. He kept every dollar he ever made as a hitman, and after his release, he didn't hide. He wrote a book, Hitman, The Untold Story of Johnny Martorano, published in 2011. In it, he described his murders in detail. The book became a bestseller. He went on TV, 60 Minutes, news shows, true crime podcasts. He became a celebrity in the true crime world, a real-life hitman who would look into a camera and tell you exactly how he killed 20 people. And he showed almost no regret. In one interview, someone asked if he thought he was a bad person. His answer was chilling. "I did bad things, but I'm not a bad person. I was a soldier. I followed orders. The people I killed, most of them were in the game. They knew the risks." When someone brought up Elizabeth Dixon, the 19-year-old girl, he paused. "That one I think about. She didn't deserve that. But it was war. In war, people get caught in the crossfire. War. That's what he called murdering a teenage girl. Caught in the crossfire. John Martorano is alive today. He's in his 80s. He lives somewhere in the Boston area. He has never apologized to the families. He has never paid them a single dollar. And he is completely free. Closing. The question of justice. So here's the question everyone asks. Was justice served? Here's the case for the deal. Without John Martorano's testimony, Whitey Bulger might never have been convicted. Stephen Flemy might have escaped a life sentence. Corrupt FBI agent John Connolly might have gotten away with everything. Martorano solved dozens of cold cases. Families finally learned what happened to the people they loved. Bodies were found. Questions were answered. His testimony exposed the worst corruption scandal in FB1 history. If you only look at results, the deal worked. Now here's the case against it. 20 murders, 12 years. That's not justice. That's just math. John Martorano killed a 19-year-old girl who was sitting in a car. He killed a 17-year-old boy. He killed businessmen. He killed criminals. He killed whoever he was told to kill. He showed no real regret. He made money off his crimes. He wrote a book and became famous. And the message is loud and clear. If you know enough secrets, you can literally get away with murder. 20 of them. The victims' families have to live knowing their loved one's killer is free. Doing interviews, signing books, that's not justice. That's a business deal. So which is it? Did the government do the right thing by using one monster to catch bigger monsters? Or did they sell their souls for a few guilty verdicts? I'll let you decide. But here's what I know for sure. 20 people are dead because of John Martorano. He served 12 years. The government gave him $20,000 on his way out. And tonight, he's a free man. That's the American justice system. Make of it what you will. Welcome to the Boston Underworld, where sometimes the hitman wins. The end.